Hello, my name is Joe Hedrick of Imaginet Technologies, and today we're going to take a look at some advanced field collection techniques inside of Civil 3D. Now that we're back in Civil 3D, let's take a look at some of these advanced coding techniques that I'm talking about. I've got three different scenarios for us to discuss. First of all, you'll notice that kind of along the southeast corner of this project, we have a road that the surveyors, while they were collecting out in the field, they did their best to shoot the center line of this road. And then there's actually a secondary road that at this intersection that leads into a parking lot. And they collected the center line of that road as well. What's kind of unique about this, and what's, again, relatively new, most of this functionality came with the 2010 version of Civil 3D. It's been enhanced upon here and there in subsequent versions. But kind of the new idea here is the ability to collect one point and assign multiple codes to it. So in this case, I've got one point, and this is point 5182. That's acting as the center line of road 1, and it's also the center line of road 2 that's ending. So just like this, we were able to collect one point. Civil 3D is smart enough that it can connect the line work from two different figures terminating into one. This really eliminates us having to take double shots like we used to do way in the past. The next scenario that I'd like to take a look at is curve collection. And this is probably where some of the biggest enhancements really to Civil 3D's collection have been made. Right? If you recall, with Land Desktop, with some of the previous versions of Civil 3D, we had a command for codes called C3. And we had to shoot curves in groups and clusters of 3-point shots. And if we had a curve that either reversed on itself or was longer than what we could collect in 3 points, then we used to have to collect that third point, move over maybe an inch or so, and start a new grouping of 3. Well, as you can see from this reverse curve, all of that's really gone. Now what we do is right at the PC, we denote that point as PC. At the very end of it, we can denote that point as PT. And what Civil 3D is going to do is all the points that fall in between, it's simply going to fit an arc through those particular points. Now, something else that you'll notice if you've got a keen eye is I collected, top of, kind of the back of the curb, and then the edge of the asphalt or the flow line. And it would be back of curb, flow line, back of curb, flow line. Again, historically, what we used to have to do is when we started to collect a curve, we had to finish that curve before we could jump off and pick up a different feature type. And with this, again, no longer that way. I can jump around. Here's the edge of the asphalt or the flow line. Shot 5002. Immediately up here, here's the back of curb, start of the curve. So flow line, back of curb. I move over, flow line or back of curb, then flow line, and kind of zigzagging my way. Again, just kind of reducing some of the effort that we used to have to go through in the field. The last thing I'd like to take a look at, really in some of this advanced coding is shot 267 right here. And you can see that there is quite a description that's going on to this. And really what I'm shooting is the back of this curb. And this particular curb, it's all one figure, right? We took shots all the way around it. But what's important is at the very beginning of the shot, right? So I'm telling it, BC for back of curb. I'm putting a space. I'm telling it, B to begin drawing this. Consequently, this again is, maybe a new format if you haven't checked out Civil 3D in a couple of years, right? Historically, with Autodesk Collection, we used to have to put the figure code or the draw code before the shot, right? So in a land desktop world, it would have had to have been B space BC. Well, Civil 3D again allows us, we can put it at the beginning or we can put it at the end. The nice thing about putting it at the end is most data collectors on the market that draw line work on the screen as the surveyors are collecting it, right? They like to have it formatted at the end. So now we can accommodate that. Civil 3D doesn't care. So again, back a curb, the B to start drawing the line. And then we see a whole series of horizontal and vertical offsets. Now, these are absolute offsets based off of the point that I shot, right? They're negative because I'm actually offsetting to the left of the figure in the case of the horizontal, and it's negative in the case of vertical because I'm going down, right? So really what I'm doing is I'm offsetting from this point, 4/10 down 5/100 to draw the face of the curb. And then I'm offsetting one more time to draw the bottom of the curb or the flow line of the curb. Now, the nice thing about this is I get to define, this template of the curb geometry, if you will. And the beauty here is I do this one time. Now, and forever until I tell it to stop, when I take a BC shot, it's going to just apply these offsets to it. So the next one down, here's point 274, which was the next one in line. Notice that I only shot the back of the curb. However, Civil 3D is drawing in the face and the flow line for me. You'll even see if I highlight these particular figures, we do have grips at those points. I never physically shot this. However, Civil 3D is connecting that line work for me as well. Right, this works great if you're doing as-built collection. Maybe the curb was put down with a curb machine. It's very uniform. It doesn't change. It's always going to be that half a foot over, half a foot down type of scenario. And we can really reduce the amount of shots that we have to take there. Now, just so that you can see it, I'm going to highlight all of this geometry and throw it up into the object viewer so we can take a look at this. Right, and you can see that it's absolutely putting in the 3D geometry. This can be used as break lines in a surface down the line if that's how we see fit. Thank you for spending the last few minutes learning about some aspects of the survey tools within Civil 3D. For more information, please visit imagineit.com or call 800-356-9050.